Okay, so I want to welcome everybody to the Montclair City Council meeting as I call to order. And we'll begin this evening with the invocation and pledge allegiance. Andrea, I'm going to ask that Fire Chief Dave Poole do the pledge allegiance today, and I'll have you introduce the person doing the invocation.
All right. This evening's invocation will be given by Minister Eddie Bravo of Calvary Montclair.
Great. Let's start. Let's please stand.
Good evening, everyone, council members and all those in attendance. I hear that there's going to be presented 4 officers this evening, and I would like to pray for them as well. So if you would all bow your heads and let's pray. Father, we come to you, Lord God, just thanking you to be able to be here this evening, Father, and we do hold these officers tonight up to you, Lord God, and these 4, Father, and all those also who are in this position, Father, doing this duty for all of us. We pray that your hand would be upon them, Lord God, that you would protect them, that you would keep them safe, Father, as they protect us, Lord God, from harm and evil. Father, we pray, Lord God, tonight during this meeting that you would fill these council members, Lord God, with wisdom as they are going to address the issues that have been set before them this evening. So we pray that your Spirit would be here, Father, and that you would fill them and guide them by your Spirit, Lord. Father, again, we thank you just to be able to be here this evening. We give you praise, honor, and glory, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you for having me this evening.
David, come on up, David. Don't be shy. Fire Chief Dave Poole.
Everyone, please join me in our salute to our nation's flag. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you can remain standing for a second, it's with great sadness that the city received news on January 26th of the passing of building official Mike Dorsey. Mike was hired in the city on April 29, 2013 as a building inspector. He became the senior building inspector in March of 2019, the plans examiner in December of 2020, and the building official in July of 2023. Mike was also a skilled electrician. Recently, on his own time, Mike was instrumental in performing electrical, sheetrock, and other physical work to convert space in the Community Development Department to a conference and project workroom. Mike was actively involved in a number of extreme sports, including rock climbing, and could frequently be found hiking trails in Mount Bali. He was also an adventurous foodie, always willing to try new and exotic foods. Mike lived in Chino with his wife and daughter, and also he had a son. I know this has been hard news for our employees, especially employees in the Community Development Department, and also in the Public Works Department. And I'd like to ask we do a moment of silence, and also want to state that we also lower the flags in the memory of Mike. Please join me in the moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
I'm on.
Now, you'll be on again. Let's want to wait for a second. You can stand right there. City Clerk, let's do roll call.
Councilmember Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez. Here. Councilmember Rue.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
I'm here.
Mayor Dutre.
I'm here. So once we're going to do it on the presentations, and we're going to start with fire department employees. City Council is going to join me down here at the bottom, and I'm going to ask that our Fire Chief, Dave Poole, to do the presentations.
Wait until they get. Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and City staff, it's my privilege tonight to introduce 3 members of the fire department, one our newest hire, Lucas Tim, and 2 recent promotions. I'd like to read a little about Lucas. Lucas was hired as a firefighter on November 6th of 2023. He's originally from Lake Elsinore, California. Lucas graduated from Cal State University in Northridge in 2019. It was here that he earned his bachelor's degree in kinesiology while playing men's volleyball. If you don't know, Cal State Northridge is a Division I team or school, and so that's pretty high caliber of volleyball that he played. He always knew he wanted a career in the fire service and obtained his EMT certification from SoCal EMS Institute in Wildomar, California in 2019. Lucas moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, where he completed his Firefighter 1 Academy and obtained his paramedic certification through the Cincinnati Fire Department in 2021. He worked for the Reading Fire Department in Ohio as an EMT firefighter while completing his paramedic training. Prior to joining the Montclair Fire Department, Lucas worked as a paramedic for AMR in both the Rancho and Hemet divisions. In addition to being a firefighter paramedic, Lucas is also a certified substitute teacher for Lake Elsinore Unified School District. In his spare time, he really enjoys spending time with my family, working out, reading, and doing anything outdoors. He thanks his mother Janet, his father Dan, and his sister Lauren for giving him the endless support throughout his entire life. He is very excited, honored, and motivated to continue his career in the fire service with the Montclair Fire Department and to serve the community. Please join me in welcoming Lucas Tim. We're also starting a basketball team, and Lucas is one of the... And that is my next introduction.
Come on up. Come on down.
Come on, Joe.
Fire of the year.
As you can tell, another tall person.
Another tall person. Fire of the year.
And I'd like to introduce Joseph Mezzo. And Joe was born in Pomona to parents Graciela and John, and later raised in Upland, California, alongside his sister Victoria. After graduating from Upland High School in 2013, he went on to attend Mount San Antonio College. It was during his time here that Joseph decided to pursue a career that would enable him to help people and make a difference in his community. Growing up, Joseph admired his mother's role as a registered nurse, and through her work was inspired to seek out a career in the medical field. While at Mount SAC, Joseph enrolled in fire science classes and decided to join the Mount SAC Fire Tech Club. And why he was part of that, he helped out with our pancake breakfast, was instrumental in that, and began focusing all his energy towards his newfound goal of becoming a firefighter. He enrolled in EMT school at Fire Future here in the city of Montclair, where he went on to pass the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians in 2016. He attended the Basic Fire Academy at Mount SAC. He graduated that in 2016. He received his Associated Science Fire Technology degree. He went on to pursue his bachelor's degree in Fire Protection Administration Technology from Cal State LA. And prior to being employed with the fire department, he earned his paramedic certification in 2019 from Mount SAC. Since that time, he has been an EMT with different ambulance companies in Southern California. And since his time here, he has taken on many, many roles at the fire department. He serves as one of our quality control people with the West End fire departments and hospitals, serves as an instructor for basic life support, cardiac life support, and CPR. So if anybody needs CPR, here's the guy to go to. He serves as a preceptor to paramedic students while they do their internship here at this department. And he's also a designated infection control officer for the department. And recently, the reason why he's standing here, he was promoted to engineer. He passed the engineer's exam and was promoted recently, just a month ago, right? And Joe has been happily married for 2 years, and he has 2 children. One was just born in September of '23. And as the mayor has stated, he was voted the firefighter of the year this year. And it's my privilege to introduce Joseph Mezzo. Supposed to give them hugs too. I have one more, and I'd like to introduce our Assistant Fire Chief, Ryan Derrick. He's not quite as tall as the other guys, but Ryan is our newly promoted Assistant Fire Chief. He was hired as a battalion chief with the Montclair Fire Department on September 28, 2020. Ryan was born in Bakersfield and raised in Kernville, California. And prior to joining the fire service, Ryan attended the University of California in Santa Barbara and earned his Bachelor of Science degree in mechanical engineering. After graduating college, he worked in San Jose, California, designing arthroscopic surgical devices for approximately 2.5 years. During this time in San Jose, he successfully designed a radio frequency ablation probe that is currently being used today in surgical procedures of the knee and shoulder, and holds 2 patents for novel concepts found within the field of arthroscopic surgery. I don't know if you picked the right career now. Having been raised by a family of firefighters, Ryan then decided to continue in his family's footsteps and pursue a career in the fire service. His dad retired from Kern County Fire Department as a captain. Ryan was hired by the Kern County Fire Department in 2008. He has held the ranks of firefighter, fire engineer, as well as fire captain. During his tenure with the county, he served many areas of varying geographical, economic, and socioeconomic diversity. He's served as incident commander on many large-scale incidents, many of the big fires up in the hills up there above Kern County, he was incident commander on. He was also part of the 2016 Ridgecrest earthquakes. He responded to that. Ryan most recently served the city of Ridgecrest, California as a captain for the past 4 years prior to joining the city of Montclair. Ryan has completed many areas of formalized education and training during his time in the fire service. He holds many state certifications, including Chief Fire Officer, Executive Chief Fire Officer, Swiftwater Rescue Technician, and many, many more, but also a hazardous materials specialist and a hazardous materials incident commander. Ryan holds an associate's degree in fire technology and is currently completing his master's degree in business administration with a focus on management, which he will complete this year. Since joining the Montclair Fire Department, Ryan has taken on many different projects within the department. He has managed both the department training division as well as the department operations division. During his time in training, he rewrote the department training manuals as well as the probationary employee development curriculum. He further placed his focus and time on redeveloping the department training facility. He successfully designed, budgeted, assisted with the building of a commercial ventilation prop for the department, purchased a new forcible entry prop, and has further rehabilitated the department training grounds. After his time in the training, he later was transitioned to the department's operation division, where he played an instrumental role in improving the department's daily operations. He has spent time updating several of the department's information technology platforms, including staffing modules, as well as department logistical and tracking software to increase efficiency and regulatory compliance. He has further implemented a new call receiving and incident management platform, which has greatly increased our incident responses and command capabilities. Ryan currently is in the process of updating our department fleet, and he has led our group that defined and enabled us to purchase a new Type 1 fire engine, which should be delivered later this year. Ryan was promoted to the Assistant Chief in October of '23 and is currently tasked with the scheduling of entry-level and promotional exams for all the ranks within the department, filling future vacancies within our department. Ryan currently resides in Los Angeles and enjoys traveling as well as spending time with his family. He enjoys reading, construction, exercising, and sports in his spare time. Ryan is excited and thankful to be a part of the Montclair family and is looking forward to further serving the community in the future. I present Ryan Derrick. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my presentation.
Well, thank you very much. And I just want to again say thank you to all the Montclair Fire Department personnel for all the hard work you do for our community. Thank you again. Now I want to present our police chief, Jason Reed, and he's going to do new hirees. I don't know, promotions too? You don't, yeah, I think you have one promotion. Oh, new fires, no promotions. Okay.
Good evening, City Council members, City staff, City Manager Starr. Wow, congratulations to all the fire staff. There's some impressive accomplishments. Mezzo, especially you're still back there in your young career, you've accomplished so much and you get involved in a lot of things, and that's great. So I know you'll have a long career here, a great career for Montclair Fire. So it is my pleasure to introduce 4 new lateral officers to the Montclair Police Department. They bring, between all 4 of them, they bring over 10 years of experience from other agencies, and we're happy to have them aboard. So without further ado, my first officer that I'd like to introduce, Anthony Maldonado. Anthony Maldonado grew up in Baldwin Park. Before taking an interest in law enforcement, he worked as a wildland firefighter for the U.S. Forest Service for 6 years. Is that okay? Sweating. Anthony became interested in law enforcement and attended a post academy in San Diego. Upon completing the academy, Anthony started his career with San Diego Sheriff's Department, where he worked as a deputy sheriff. When not working, Anthony enjoys spending time with his wife and son, exploring and camping at different national parks, and he plans to further his career in law enforcement experience while positively impacting Montclair's community. So with that, I introduce Anthony Maldonado. Hey, he took theirs. Thanks, John. The next officer I'd like to, congratulations. Next officer I'd like to call up to the front is Lateral Officer Angel Gutierrez. Officer Angel Gutierrez grew up in Redlands, California, and from a young age he wanted to help people in need and mentor the youth in his community. Angel had an ultimate goal of becoming a police officer. After graduating from San Bernardino Sheriff's Academy, he began his law enforcement career. Angel comes from the Blythe Police Department in Riverside County. With 4 years of patrol experience, Angel is excited to patrol and help the citizens of Montclair now and continue his law enforcement career here. In his free time, Angel enjoys giving back to the community, and he also coaches youth baseball and spends a lot of time with his family and his dog. So with that, I give you Angel Gutierrez. I'd like to call up now Officer Brandy Diaz. Officer Brandy Diaz began her law enforcement career in 2018 after graduating from the Rio Hondo Police Academy. She served the city of Alhambra for 5 years and decided to further her career with the Montclair Police Department. Brandy graduated from Azusa Pacific University with a master's in public administration. When not working, Brandy enjoys spending time with her family and going on vacations. And also, Brandy brings with us some experience as she had the special assignment as a background investigator for Alhambra, correct? So going through that process was no strange process for you, because that's what you were doing. So with that, I give you Officer Brandy Diaz. And the last officer I'd like to introduce, our fourth officer, Francisco Soberanes. Francisco Soberanes was born in Glendale, California. At a young age, he moved to Mexicali, Mexico, where he attended grade school for 8 years. Francisco attended and graduated high school at Southwest and El Centro. When working as a security guard for Wells Fargo Bank, Francisco had a conversation with an undercover Calexico police officer, and that sparked his interest in becoming a police officer. And then at that point, he knew he wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement. Francisco immediately became enamored with police work and attended and graduated from a post-modular academy, earning honors during his level 2 coursework. Francisco has 1.5 years as a police reserve and 4 years of full-time experience at Westmoreland Police Department in Imperial County. Francisco has worked on several assignments, including school resource officer and highway interdiction. Francisco is extremely excited to work for the city of Montclair, serve the community, and further his law enforcement career at the Montclair family. So with that, I give you Officer Francisco Soberanes. Welcome aboard. And thank you. That concludes my presentation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you to all of our employees, making sure that the city's safe during these storms. And that includes police, fire, and public works, and the other departments as well. So this is a great time if you want to leave right now. If you want to stay, you're welcome to do so. And we'll move on with the agenda. And we'll next go with public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public that wish to speak to the city council on any item that's not on the agenda. Or if there is an item on the agenda, on a business item, this is a great time to speak as well. You'll have 5 minutes. If you're in the audience, you'll fill out the speaking card, and you'll give that to our city clerk desk over here. If you're on Zoom, you'll hit the raise hand feature on Zoom. If you're on the phone, you'll hit the *9 feature if you wish to request to speak. So at this time, I'm going to ask the city clerk if she's got any speakers.
Yes, first we have on Zoom Ruby Long from Supervisor Kurt Hagman's
Okay.
office.
Rudy Long.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Rudy.
you
How you
hear me?
doing? Go ahead, Rudy. Yes.
I'm good, thank you. Good evening. Once again, I'm with the County Supervisor Kurt Hagman's office, and I just want to do a quick announcement. It's more of a save the date, and that is that on March 16th, we're going to have our shredding event. It's going to be in the city of Montclair, right there at the City Hall, and that'll be March 16th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I'm doing a save the date right now. Once we get closer to the date, we'll open up for people to pre-register, and it's a lot easier. It just runs faster and smoother if you are pre-registered. So we do request that. And once again, to save the date, and we will do more announcements as we get closer to the date.
Okay, so that's March 16 shred event here in Montclair.
Yes, right there at City Hall.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
All right, our next speaker is Xavier Mendez.
Xavier, come on up. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Doing wonderful, thank you. Greetings, Mayor Dutray, City Council, City Manager Starr, city staff, and the community. My name is Xavier Mendez, and I'm a lifelong resident of this wonderful city of Montclair, a past employee of 29 years, and an appointed planning commissioner for the city of Montclair. I would also like to welcome all the new fire and police officers again to this amazing city and look forward to meeting each of them, but they're all gone. So I'll meet them later, I guess.
Gotta go to work.
I'm here today to talk about a couple of items on the agenda that I would like to share my opinion based on knowledge, experience, my love of this city, and my professional life. Under public hearing A, on the second reading of ordinance 24-1005, as a resident, it's nice to see that the city is making options for small businesses to help protect their property and livelihood, and hope to see those go through. On the consent calendar, B4, declaring the 2012 Toro GM 4000 riding mower to surplus is obviously a good idea based on what had happened to it. But just wanted to make sure that they've already replaced this unit. Just because I want to keep seeing that the city is putting, maintenance in-house rather than, trying to contract it out. So hopefully they've gotten a new mower to replace that one, and that it was in the budget. I guess it was already over 10 years old, so it should have been already ready to be replaced. In agreements, C2, where we're awarding a contract to Sequel Contractors, Inc. for the paving of all the different specific alleyways. I see that they were the low bidder at $2.3 million, and I understand that we don't necessarily have to use the lowest bidder, but I'm glad to see that that is a good low bid, close to what the engineer had projected. But I just want to make sure that we get quality work. I know we have used Gentry Brothers and All American Asphalt in the past, and we've had good results. But when we can save $1 million or $2.5 million by using a new contractor, this could be a good thing. So hopefully that works out well, and I'm sure it will. Right, Monica? Under agreement 24-09, I know we're looking for some grant writers. I thought we used to have some in-house, so hopefully we still have people that are doing those also, and not just relying on people doing it from the outside. Number 5, under agreements, 2411, with the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation donating the monies needed to purchase the new defibrillators. Thank you to Firehouse Subs for doing that. It'd also be great to see a Firehouse Subs in the city of Montclair. Currently, they're in Chino, Laverne, and Ontario surrounding us, so it'd be nice I love their sandwiches. And then under resolutions, as Mayor Dutray touched on, 24-3430, the loss of a great human, building official Mike Dorsey. He will be missed by many. My heart goes out to Mike's family, his friends, and all who knew him. He was a great man. And also, I just want to say thank you to Mary for offering to come back during this sad time to help the city of Montclair. We all appreciate her loyalty, and thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
That's all the requests I have.
Nobody else has hands raised. Okay, then we can move on to public hearings. I want to open up the first public hearing, which is the second reading, consider adoption of ordinance number 24-1005, amending Title 11. It goes on and on. This is regarding the monitored electrical security fences. And do we have any speakers from the audience?
We have two of the individuals that were here last meeting are
Okay.
here, ready to answer any questions if you have any for them.
Okay, we'll keep it open in case there's any questions from the council they want to ask.
One business owner.
All right, we'll keep it open for the meantime. Okay, I'll bring back this item back to the city council. There is no staff presentation this time, as it's been our past practice. Any questions by the council? I don't see any requests to speak. Any speakers? No? Questions? Comments? If not, can I please have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for the item as presented this evening to be read by title and number only.
Second.
I think I second by Councilmember Lopez, obviously first from Councilmember Rue. The public comment portion is closed as well, and we will now do an electronic vote. That's adopted 5-0, and then the city clerk will read the item.
Ordinance number 24-1005, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montclair, amending Chapter 11.02 of the Montclair Municipal Code, adding new definitions, including a definition for monitored electrified security fence, and amending Chapters 11.38 and 11.77 to establish new standards and procedures for allowing monitored electrified security fences in specified commercial and industrial zones within the city.
Okay. Now we'll go on to the second public hearing item. This is to consider funding of Community Development Block Grant Program. You have a staff presentation on this
Yes, I
item?
do. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, for fiscal year 24-25, the city staff does anticipate receiving an estimated $266,647 from the Community Development Block Grant Program, representing a minor decrease below the city's current level of funding, which is $271,698. As indicated on page 19 of your agenda packet, staff recommends funding for the following programs: $50,000 for the city's code enforcement program, $176,650 for Kingsley Street and Canoga Street alleyway improvements, $30,000 for the city's graffiti abatement program, and $9,997 for operation of the Golden Express Senior Transportation Services Program. That represents a combined total of the $266,647 that we do anticipate receiving from the federal government for this next fiscal year. No outside agencies submitted any requests for funding through the city's public service allocation. The city historically receives about $40,000 for our public service allocation, and that money will be allocated to the graffiti abatement program and Golden Express Transportation Services. For fiscal year 24-25, city expects to receive $266,647 in CDBG funding, and staff recommends City Council approve the prioritization of projects as outlined in the agenda report for fiscal year 2024-25.
Great. This is the public hearing. I'll open the public hearing portion. Any speakers from the public on this item? If there's not, we will close the public hearing portion, bring the item back to the council. Any comments or questions? If not, can I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for the item as presented this evening to be read by title and number only.
All right, I have a motion for a second. I have a question real fast, Ed, on the Kingsley Street, Canoga Street alley improvements. There's an item under consent calendar. I forgot which one it
Yes, that's
is,
correct.
for, to warrant a contract for alley improvements. Are these funds part of those funds there, or this is separate?
No, this is separate from that. That is entirely lease revenue bonds.
So is this alley, the alley project does not include the Kingsley Canoga alley at all?
No, my understanding is that those alleyways are going to come back for a recommendation to City Council. It would be in July of this current year.
July for an award or July to? go
July
out?
for construction.
Good evening,
ahead.
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, staff. So the item before you is to improve 13 alleyways.
Right.
Using
That's a
the
consent
lease
calendar
revenue.
item, yeah.
Yes. We do have 3 CDBG alleyways that were designed as part of this project that are ready to go. And so with the approval of the CDBG amount,
Right.
then we can start the one on Kingsley and Canoga in July.
July is
Construction.
what, go out for an award?
Yes.
The
So
request-
we'll award it the first meeting in July.
Award the contract in July to a contractor. Okay. That clarifies it.
Yeah,
All
to be
right.
clear, that's a separate discussion from
Yeah.
what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just mixing it up with the funding source. Okay, let's vote on this, and if you have more questions, we'll just do it on the consent calendar.
Yeah, thank you. I am confused after what you just said, but I'll wait till the item comes up.
All right. Okay, so did everybody vote on this item here? All right, it's adopted 5-0. Okay, now we're under the consent calendar, so I'll start my left. Anybody want to pull anything on my left?
C4, just for a quick comment.
Okay, I hear C4. Okay, C4. C is Charlie 4.
And C is Charlie 1
Charlie 1?
and Charlie 5.
Charlie 1 and Charlie 5. Okay. How about my right?
One has already been pulled, but I'd like to pull as well C3.
C3, Charlie 3. Okay.
C4 has already been pulled. I was going to make a comment.
Okay. Nobody wants to pull item C2 regarding the alley? I thought maybe
Well,
there's a
just,
question regarding that.
yeah, let's go ahead and do that, sir.
All right, we'll pull that one too. And I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna pull item D4 for comments. So, okay, so I know it's quite a few, so we're going on the line here. I think the first one being pulled is it the C1 or B5? B5 or C1? Anybody call for B5? If not, then C1, Charlie 1. So who's Charlie 1?
Yeah, I did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one quick question about the fields. I know the season is going to be starting soon, and I also know that there's been work being done on both those fields. So my question is, do we know that the fields are going to be ready in time?
Well, we always try to prep the fields in advance of play, so my expectation is just that they will be ready.
Thank you.
Okay. Here's anybody else on C1?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Question regarding the contract. I believe the contract before us would expire August 31st, correct? Okay. I know that both entities will be coming back to us in the fall for the same use of the fields. Is there any reason why we just can't extend that to the November 30th or the December 31st deadline, knowing that their prior practice is to come back to us for the same use?
I believe we try not to do that in case we're working on that manual, and if there's other groups that want to use it during the non-contract time, that makes it easier for them to be able to use it. Also, if we have the contract the whole time, then if Public Works needs to go and do anything with the fields and things, there's no real downtime to be able to do that. So that little break gives us that time to do that as well.
Okay, I appreciate the explanation.
Okay, C2, Charlie 2, this is regarding the alley improvements. You say you had
Yeah,
some...
Mr. Mayor, thank you for the time. Your initial question regarding the public hearing item, Ed, I believe you said the alleys for the prior item are CDBG funds, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. How many alleys in that affected project are to be done? I thought I heard 3, but
2, I believe that's 2.
Well, we have the design of 3 alleyways in the CDBG area, but with the amount of funding, we can only do 1 actually. But we may try to do 2. I plan to advertise for 2. The other one will be as an option, and depending on how the bids come out, we may be able to do 2.
okay. Now, the remaining alleys, the 13, correct, 13?
13 that are on tonight's.
Those are lease revenue bond funds?
Yes.
Okay, and the amount again is just shy of $1 million?
Well,
No,
additional.
No, it's 2.2 plus 900.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the other item, the second
The
item.
council approved $2 million in the lease revenue bond funding when we presented the projects to the city council. They authorized $2 million for alleyway improvements. For these alleyways, for this particular project, the bid came in excess of that, $2.6 million. So we need to, plus if we ask for a contingency, which we typically do, we are asking for an additional approximately $900,000 from lease revenue bonds to be applied to the current $2 million so that we can complete each one of these projects being recommended.
Therefore, the total is a 2.6 million.
2.9. Including contingency.
Yes.
Why am I not seeing that?
So if you look at the fiscal impact, it says that the city council authorized the $2 million, and the staff is recommending an additional $966,433.75 so that we can meet the bid, which came in at $2,696,433.75, plus a 10% contingency.
Okay. All right. And the timeframe for these would be March to June? They'll be started and completed of this year? Okay. Thank you.
You know what the three alleys are, the CDBG alleys? I know the Canoga, Kingsley's one. What's the other two alleys?
So the other one is next to the same. So we have two on parallel to Kingsley and Canoga between Monte Vista and Ramona. We're doing one of them or both, hopefully.
Okay.
The other one is on Polson, just south of Kingsley.
Those are the three. Okay, Polson. And everything north, basically everything north in Kingsley then is going to be in the bond funded.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Good. Okay. Anybody else on C2? C3.
That's my item, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make clear that I will be recusing myself from the item. I still do technically have a consulting contract with a major competitor of Blaze & Associates, even though I have not received any monetary money for the past year. But I am still obligated and on paper with the company, so I want to remove myself from the item.
Okay. C4. This is Claremont Graduate University.
Yes. So this agenda item concerns the City of Montclair's partnership with the Claremont Graduate University School of Community and Global Health, hosting of the interns and that are earning a doctorate in public health. And it's the city's recommending that we expand the scope of the agreement that we have with the school to include their new program students for the master's in applied biostatistics and doctorate, and doctorate in public health. I just want to say that I've had the pleasure of working with Alyssa, who has a doctorate in public health. She's the assistant director of human services and grants manager. Xavier mentioned grants earlier. I'm not sure if you were talking specifically about her department, but I've had the pleasure of working with her through being a liaison on the CAC and also seeing her at the food and toy drives and various events around the city. And she's amazing and an asset to the city. And if we could bring in more qualified interns and employees to work with the city, then we would be in a really good position. That's all. Thank you.
Well, great. I didn't realize we had a doctor on our staff, so Dr. Kolinga, I know she's on the line. Congratulations being a doctor.
Yeah, I want to point out that the only reason that we can get these interns working for the city is because they would be supervised by a PhD.
Right.
Without that PhD, this program would not be coming to the city.
Okay. Councilmember Ryu, no?
Yes. I wanted to comment on this because I think it's a positive for the community. We have many of our residents who do struggle as far as issues regarding their health. This will help because at the senior center, these individuals will be able to work with them on some of the basic issues surrounding health. I think it's a win-win for everybody. CGU is just, 5-6 miles at the most from here. So it's a really good opportunity for us. And I would love to see in the future, probably well after I'm gone, one of these students wins an award someday for their wonderful, outstanding medical work, maybe when they're 55, 60, 70 years old, and they've completed a lifetime in medicine and truly look back and remember the work they did in Montclair and how it trained them for the future. So I think it's a positive.
Okay, nobody else on this item. We'll go on to item C5, firehouse subs.
Thank you,
Zach.
Mr. Mayor. I just really want to issue a huge thank you to the Firehouse Subs Company for allowing us to give us that grant to allow us to purchase that life-saving equipment. I do remember back in the day when there were no defibrillators anywhere, and now they need to be everywhere. So I'm so grateful to Firehouse Subs, and I think we should all go there and buy a bunch of food. That's all.
Thank you. And then the last item, which is D4, I think. Is it D4? Yeah. I just want to say thank you to Mary Westerland for coming back out of retirement somewhat to fill this position due to the loss of Mike, our building official. So on behalf of the council, if you could let Mike know that we appreciate her coming back. I know that's also a big relief for staff for her to be there, someone who is very knowledgeable of that position and all the developments going on in Montclair. So we have nothing else. Can I get a motion for the consent calendar?
I'll motion for the consent calendar as presented this evening.
I'll second.
Second the motion, second by Councilman Martinez. Let's do electronic vote on it.
With the notation that I'm abstaining on item C3.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You want a separate vote on
Sure,
this?
let's go ahead and do that on C3.
Okay, you want a separate vote, so we'll make, so the
consent
maker
calendar
and the
first.
second, that includes C3, I think? Yeah, C3.
Can we do this consent calendar first?
Consent
I
calendar
already
without,
had it up.
without item C3. Everybody agree with that? Okay. Okay, that's adopted 5-0 now. I just need a motion on item C3.
I'll make a motion for item C3 as presented this evening.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Johnson. We'll vote on that with Councilmember Lopez recusing himself. So the vote on that will be 4 yes, and Councilmember Lopez recused himself. All right. So now we go down to response to City Council. Considered receiving the response to an inquiry from the City Council regarding costs associated with the potential dissemination of public information communication to Montclair households addressing all costs related to the Garcia Fuentes versus Lopez expenditures. So I'll leave it there. So Council, I don't know, City Manager Starr, do you have a little brief what your outcome is in terms of disseminating information to the public?
Yes, well, real briefly, we did look at the Fair Political Practices Commission requirements as well as the Political Reform Act of 1974. And based on the regulations by those respective agencies and their oversight authority, staff has determined that if you look at the tail end of the agenda under the concluding analysis, after examining 4 different questions related to whether or not staff could move forward with the council's motion related to the dissemination of information, we've concluded that we cannot. We looked at whether or not the proposed communication designed to or does it expressly advocate for defeat of a clearly identified candidate. While we do not believe that that is necessarily the intent and purpose of the City Council, we also believe that the communication is intended to be public information, but it's an identification of a sitting member of the governing board, coupled with its distribution proximate to an election cycle, would possibly lead to the argument that it does represent an advocation of a potential defeat or otherwise related to particular candidates. So we believe that under that particular provision under FPPC regulations, it does not qualify. Does the act prohibit a mass mailing related to the proposed communication? Yes, it does. A mass communication under the definition of the FPPC is 200 or more mailings. This would constitute, as proposed by the City Council, more than 200 mailings. Therefore, it would qualify under FPPC rules as a mass mailing. But would it be permissible under those FPPC guidelines? And again, we refer back to the previous statement that there would be a potential problem related to the purpose and intent of the mailing. 3, would the proposed dissemination of a public information to Montclair households again, represent the mailing over 200 substantially similar pieces. Yes, it absolutely would represent more than 200 mailings. So again, that would fall under the regulations related to the FPPC, so we would have to take that into consideration. And then that brings us to number 4. As a mass mailing, would dissemination of the proposed public information be in conflict with the act? Staff looked at 4 different criteria that the FPPC establishes related to the dissemination of public information. Is it a tangible item? In other words, is it something that would be delivered to each one of the households? Yes, it would be a tangible item because it would be mailed through the U.S. Postal Service. Does the proposed public information piece feature an elected official? Yes, it would. Would public monies be spent on the distribution of the public information piece? Yes, that does apply in that particular instance. And D, as proposed, would more than 200 pieces be disseminated, thus making it a mass mailing? Yes, it would. So based on each one of those criteria, staff believes that it would be a violation of FPC's regulations to mail out the particular piece that was a component of the motion made by the City Council at the last meeting. So staff would not recommend going in that particular direction. However, staff does need to point out that FPPC mass mailing provisions do not apply to public expenditures on telephone messages, pre-recorded telephone calls, robocalls, text messaging, website postings, and electronic mail, as they are not considered a tangible item. So with that, staff does point out that the fiscal impact, if the council did make the decision to do a mass mailing, it would be up to or less than $5,000. Staff's recommendation is that the City Council not pursue a mass mailing as indicated as part of the motion, but staff does await further direction from the City Council.
Great. Any questions from council and for staff on this item? If not,
I have a
Go ahead.
comment. So I just want to reiterate some comments I made last time. In August of 2021, an independent investigator was hired to look into 2 separate staff allegations of misconduct. And in March of 2022, that investigator presented to the City Council in closed session a presentation and the determination that the actions of Councilmember Ben Lopez were such that, 1, he conducted an extended conversation with one employee about his sexual orientation, and 2, he intentionally hid his identity from another employee when they communicated on social media dating sites, and that their communication thereon included sharing sexually explicit content and photographs. Now, I want to stress that this was not taken lightly by the council. We had multiple questions. We asked these questions for, I want to say it extended hours, and I won't get into it, but we were very thorough when speaking with the investigator about the conclusions that were reached. And since then, there hasn't been an apology. There hasn't been a recognition of, I did something wrong and I should step down so the city and our residents don't have to be affected by my actions. Instead, Councilmember Lopez, you claim that this was a political attack. We are nonpartisan. Nobody knows from the community what we're registered as. All we know is that you have acted in a way that is detrimental to the residents. And I agree with our mayor that you need to step down from office. You need to resign. You need to do the right thing. There's plenty of other things that you can do that do not involve costing $700,000 to the city, and I really hope that you'll consider doing that before litigation continues. That's all. Thank you.
well, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions regarding this item over here? What I'd like to do is, I think, and again, it's important the public is aware of this, and it appears that there's no harm to post this on our website. And so I would like to see if we can at least post on this website the staff report and the resolution regarding the censure, and then the staff report from last meeting regarding the cost. And then we'll put that on the website. It's an opportunity if members of the public wish to take a look at it. It's there for them to take a look at. I would like to wait until after the March election. Mr. Lopez is on the ballot for the March election, so I prefer to wait after that. And then we have authorized staff to put that on the website. And I also like to see maybe, I don't know, this email, I'd like to consider it, but I'd like staff to come back at a later date and tell us if we did emails, how that works, and I don't feel comfortable right now with it, but I'm open to the idea of looking at it first with information provided by staff at a future date. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Not sure if anybody has a comment about that. Councilmember Lopez?
Question to the city clerk. If I'm not mistaken, Madam City Clerk, I believe the staff report for either of the items and the censure resolution can already be found online, correct?
Within the agenda packets, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Johnson, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that I heard from Mr. Starr that it's not a violation of FPPC to have it on the website. And I just think that there have been so many people who have asked about it. It would be nice to just be able to point them to that's where it is if you're interested in going to see it. So I like the idea of putting it on the cost associated with the lawsuits on the website.
Okay, Councilmember Rue?
If this is already listed in the staff report, I don't know why we would want to go back again and put it on the website. My concern is this could be, the FPPC says no, but it could be construed as electioneering, and that's my concern. This has been fully covered in the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin, both the print edition and the online edition, so I think the public is fairly aware. Thank you.
Okay, we got that. So my motion is that we direct staff to put this on the website. As I noted earlier, it'll be the staff report, of the censure resolution, and then the last staff report when it comes to expenditure. The second part of that is that staff come back at a future date and tell us about distributing through emails if that's possible. Can I get a second to my motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further comments on the motion? If not, can we please have electronic vote? Okay, that's motion's adopted 3-2 with Councilmember Rue and Lopez voting no.
Mr. Mayor, may I just make a comment?
Go ahead.
My vote is based on the fact that I think it could be construed as electioneering and could potentially put the city in a situation of litigation. Thank you. I'd like that in the record. Thank you.
No problem. We will put that in the record for your information. Not a problem at all. You know, recently someone brought to my attention a Chino Tea Party website, which, Ben, you were to be a speaker for at a January meeting prior to the last city council meeting, and I find it interesting. This is what it said. But it is for his work in the conservative pro-family movement that Councilman Lopez is being sued by city employees, hitting him with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Those in the local far left socialist woke mob have trumpeted by politically motivated acquisitions and charges against Ben with the sole attempt at destroying him personally, financially, and politically, even going so far as to demand a 2-week trial in court to smear him just weeks before his November 2024 re-election. And you know, I do believe some of this you wrote. My opinion is that you made some comments. You know, I beg to defer, and I know that Councilmember Martinez just talked about it. Back in October, back in March of 2022, this council met in closed session. We started at 6:05. We came out of closed session at 9:51. where we spent almost 4 hours with an investigator. When I walk in this room, I had an open mind and asked many questions, even challenging questions of the investigator. And I know my colleagues did the same thing. When I came out, I was shocked and upset. There was nothing political in the findings and the investigator, only facts. So at the last council meeting, when we talked about the sexual harassment training class, you made a comment, contention that the city did not respond to a June 6th email from your attorney regarding harassment training and to have training in Montclair. And so this is what happened. April 4th, the city council adopted a censure resolution that included a clause that you attend the harassment training. That was important because you know, if an employee engaged in such behavior and they remain an employee of the organization, then it's important that employee go through training so they can correct their behavioral without negatively impacting the organization or the employees. So that's why we thought it was important to do it, even though once every 2 years there's a state mandate to do it. About a month later, May 4th, the city manager emailed you and mailed you a correspondence asking you to respond by May 9. If you wish to take a harassment training in Montclair on May 30th or Los Angeles on June 1, no response was received from you. Then on May 16 of the same year, the city council authorized $5,000 expenditure for this training and extended the period from 30 days to 60 days. You voted no, but did not state whether you'll attend or not. May 26th, the city manager emailed you to remind you of the June 1 training. No response from you. May 31st, city manager emailed you again, stating that the time change of this training from 10 to 11, no response. On June 1st, city manager actually texted you this time of the time change, again, no response. On the same day, the training group contacted the city manager that you were a no-show, and then the city expended $3,439 for no training. On June 6th, the city did receive the email that you spoke of the last meeting from your attorney that included that you will participate in the training but will not admit to any wrongdoing, and that the training occurred in Montclair, and I think I just indicated that staff originally had you training in Montclair. June 8th, the city attorney did respond. He claimed it did not respond. There was a response on June 8th to your attorney's email, which she provided. The above dates stated the required training completion exceeded the 60 days set by the city council, and additional funds are required to be expended. Since you were not willing to participate in this training, it was best felt that you just go ahead and proceed with your mandatory state training. Then we discussed the mediation. You stated that you remember the date and you were on a hospital gurney, that it is pretty cold-blooded, inconsiderable, considering that you were in a hospital at that time and that you contacted the city council and the plaintiff's counsel advising them of the fact. So on October 6, 2022, there was a virtual mediation. This is virtual, not in place, face-to-face, but virtual mediation hearing that was conducted to negotiate a global settlement for all the cases. For such process to be effective, all parties and their representative legal counsel must be participants in the process to achieve open communication and a solution. The city and its legal counsel, as well as the plaintiff Garcia Fuentes, legal counsel did participate in this October 6th mediation. However, you and your legal counsel did not attend, did not participate, did not consult or contact the city or its legal counsel or the mediator that you will not be present. In fact, the day of the mediation, the mediator contacted you and your attorney, and there was no return of the mediator's call. Regarding your hospital situation, this may relate, as I brought it up, to a deposition hearing on January 17, 2023. On January 10 of that same year, your attorney emailed that you will not be available for the deposition for a scheduled hospitalization. As a result, the deposition was rescheduled to August 31, 2023, which you participated. For the early part of 2023, you missed several council meetings, which you were excused by this council. However, You did not miss any council meetings in October, November, or December 2022. Your statement that pretty cold-blooded, considering that you were in the hospital at that time, is both inaccurate and frankly insulting. Regards to the suit, since you did not participate in the mediation, the parties were unable to reach a global settlement. So consequently, the city was placed in a position where we had to settle $550,000 with the two employees. If you did participate, perhaps there would have been a better outcome for the city. Since the city incurred legal expenses and agreed to the $550,000 settlement, the city council had no choice but direct the city attorney to initiate a cross-complaint against you, which was issued on February 5th, 2023. And the purpose of cross-complaint was to recover the damages, attorney fees, and the court cost. Obviously, as I stated last meeting, the litigation will continue until either you settle the cross-complaints by court order mediation or when a decision is rendered through a trial. My understanding, a mandatory mediation hearing is scheduled for sometime this summer, and a trial hearing is scheduled for September, October of 2024. Please, advise that in your comments, the courts control the calendar, not the parties, when these trials take place. So perhaps maybe if the deposition were to take place in January 2023, then perhaps the process will be currently ongoing through the trial process. To conclude, after all this, you asked that the city taxpayers pay for your attorneys of your choice due to your bad behavior. In a letter to you and your attorney, City Council rejected your request with findings based on California law. The reality is that you got caught with your hands in the cookie jar. You can't admit to the bad behavior because you want to be an elected official. You're more interested in your image and the well-being of the people you are supported to represent. I endorsed you in 2020 with expectations that you would do the right thing to protect our employees. I did not endorse you to harm our employees. I regret endorsing you. As I stated before, in 2022, the best thing for you to do was resign to prevent further legal harm to our city. The city has now expended $700,000 plus in legal fees and will continue to expend funds until these cases are done. I again suggest that you really think about what is the best interest in the city of Montclair, the people of Montclair, and to prevent further public funds be wasted and to end this nightmare. Thank you. Any further comments? If not, we'll move on. So now we go down to communication. City Attorney, do you have anything? No?
I have nothing, thank you.
City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you're going to talk about it, but I just want to bring it up that yourself, myself, as well as representatives from San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, the Foothill Gold Line Extension Construction Authority, and representatives from Metro and the Los Angeles County Superintendent Office were meeting last week to discuss the extension of the Gold Line to Montclair. We are obviously pleased to report that funding from the state of California is basically approved. It may come in 3 tranches to extend the Gold Line to the Montclair Trans Center. Approximately $500 million has already been approved by the state of California, with the additional amount equaling up to $786 million coming in 2 additional tranches. The governor has indicated his support for retention of these funds in the budget and in future budgets for extension of the Gold Line through the state's various funding mechanisms that have been established for this particular purpose, including the Climate Action Control Plan. The key element to the meeting was whether or not San Bernardino County Transportation Authority was going to participate in providing an additional $19 million for a total of $96 million to complete the segment from the Los Angeles County, San Bernardino County line to the Montclair Trans Center. The meeting did not exactly clarify that San Bernardino County Transportation Authority would make that commitment. But I am pleased to report that in after-meeting discussions, it does appear now that what will occur is that the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority will recommend to their board the original funding amount of additional $39 million plus the state's transportation funds of about $46 million. And then after the bids go out and are submitted, and if there's an additional funding requirement, San Bernardino County Transportation Authority has committed to going to their board and asking for that additional funding at that time based on knowing what that amount will be, as opposed to the $19 million additional speculative amount at this particular time. So it is our perspective that the Gold Line will be fully funded, that both sides of the table on Los Angeles County and San Bernardino County side have agreed that the Gold Line will be constructed and completed to the Montclair Trans Center. In the meantime, staff is working with its consultant, Mullen Polyzoid, to develop a plan to develop out the Trans Center property to include the necessary parking facilities for 1,600 vehicles with an underground or a ground level service facility for the transit riders, as well as a bus turnaround area, including the bus layover areas for the buses picking up individuals, and the development of housing and other commercial on the site. So we will continue with this effort, expecting that the Montclair Trans Center will be a fully functioning multimodal transit center with service with Metrolink, the Gold Line, and approximately 4 different bus services, with the introduction of the Bright Line coming to the Rancho Cucamonga Trans Center. The Gold Line will be even more important in that regard because it will be bringing ridership into Montclair on the Gold Line as well as Metrolink. And from there, we will establish transit connections to the Rancho Cucamonga station for individuals boarding the Bright Line to Las Vegas. So we think and we believe fully that the future of the Montclair Trans Center is bright and that the Gold Line will arrive to the Montclair Trans Center by 2030. And that concludes my
That
comments.
sounds simple and it's all done. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Took a lot of effort. Took us, what,
have
20
more-
years?
we
20
have-
years to get to this
Well,
point.
we have more work to do, so there's more hurdles to go through, but thank you for the update. Okay, so as far as myself, we have a special city council meeting on February 21st for the mid-year budget review. So is everybody good with Wednesday, February 21 at 6 p.m. to meet in these council chambers? Any problems with that date? Everybody's good? On my left, my right, everybody's good? All right. I just want to recognize Black History Month. That's a big month for the month of February, and I know that Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Johnson and the Christian Development Center, the Rutgers, had a great event last Saturday in the park, and congratulations for doing that. Just wanted to recognize that too. And I also think, if I'm correct, the month of February is the American, excuse me if I look this up, is the American Heart Month of February, along with President's Day. That's a holiday for everybody. I want to recognize Montclair High School, their sports. So there's their boys and girls basketball team, the girls water polo team are going to the CIF. The boys soccer and girls soccer are also going to the CIF. The boys soccer, they are in the Open League, which is the highest league in CIF, and they're going to play Mater Day Wednesday. We'll see if it rains or not, but they're playing Mater Day here at Montclair High School at 5 p.m., and then Friday they'll play at Mater Day for the CIF Open Division tournament. And then I also want to recognize the girls wrestling team. They were in a CIF competition last week, and they made it all the way to the finals, and they were able to beat the number one ranked team of that tournament, but then they lost to the number 2 team in the finals. So I just want to recognize the girls wrestling team. I also want to say that I'm no longer Ombudsman's chair. Mayor Frank Navarro of the city of Colton has replaced me. He's the new chair, and then Alan Watmer from Ontario is the new vice chair. And that's it. Councilmember Rue.
Yes. I will start off with Gold Line. I was planning to mention some of that. As the vice chair of the Gold Line, Secretary Treasurer of the Gold Line JPA, I did meet with vice chair of the Gold Line Construction Authority, Mendel Thompson. It was a casual meeting. He talked about how the Finance Committee at Metro did fully approve funding to Montclair based on some of the caveats that were mentioned this evening, that it would not be funding all at once. They would come, as we know, in a few pieces here and there, and that's, better than nothing at all. It does look like we will see the Gold Line through here. One comment I'd like to make as far as the city and our involvement with it. I've made this clear in the past. It is my true belief, desire, that there should never be a charge for parking at any public facility within the boundaries of the city of Montclair. I don't care if a developer wants to build a parking structure. There should be no charge. We need to make absolutely certain that this is accessible to the people who need it most. Working class families who can't afford $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 a day.
Councilman Rue, I know, but this is not an item on the agenda. You're discussing a policy matter of your opinion, but you're in violation of the Brown Act, in my opinion. Am I correct, City Attorney? Have we gotten to that point?
Well, I will just leave it at that then.
All right, that's probably best. Thank you.
And I will bring it up at another meeting. In fact, we should agendize that at some point. There should never be parking. We already mentioned Black History Month. You've heard me say before, Black history is American history, and American history is Black history. The event was very well done. Due to rain, not a lot of people showed up, but we still had people there. February 10th, we begin Lunar New Year, and I send my best to everybody. This is the year of the dragon. It's a wood dragon. I've attended already several Lunar New Year events, and many, many people throughout the region are excited about this. It's celebrated by more than 1 billion people across the globe. I received information for many of our high school or college students from the gas company. They're offering scholarships. There will be 15 scholarships in the amount of $1,000. The time to apply is February 5th through March 19th, 2024. You must be enrolled, either a senior in high school or a current college undergraduate with a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 or 4.0. You must live in the Southern California Gas Service territory, plan to attend full-time undergraduate course and study of accredited two-year college or trade school in the U.S. for the academic year of 2023-24, plan to enroll in an eligible major in science, technology, engineering, math, finance, accounting, business administration, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, welding, or medical-related or welding. Demonstrate a financial need. If you're interested, you simply go to SoCal Gas Scholarship Program, type that in your browser, and the information will come up. And lastly, on February 14th, we will observe Ash Wednesday and the beginning of Lent. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just, as far as the Golden Authority, they're looking at maybe trying to award this contract the spring of next year, 2025. So for everybody's information, Councilman Lopez, go ahead.
Yes, a few items. On February 1st, Janice, I missed the Chamber Grand reopening. My father was there. He says it was a packed room, but given the fact that it's a tiny place, doesn't take too much to pack the place. But he says it was a good event and good representation of business folk and dignitaries and a who's who of Montclair interested parties or Montclair dignitaries or whatnot were well represented. And just so the public knows, remind you that the Chamber of Commerce has now relocated to the southwest corner of Central and Benito. That is the home, technically, that's on the corner that has been, many years ago, converted for office use and nonprofit use. That house, that property has been put to good use, and now the chamber is there. So anyhow, glad that you guys had a good, successful event, given the fact that it was also raining and pouring that day. Also, on February 3rd, I got back late into town, but I did stop by just to talk to Pastor Donald Rucker and show some support to his Black History Month event that Christian Development Center put on. It was also great to meet some other pastors from the area. And one of the pastors knows a family that I go back to when I was in high school. So it was really neat to reminisce with those folks and meet some new folks as well and support a couple of the vendors there, grab a drink and something to eat. But I am convinced that if the weather wasn't as cold or chilly, the attendance would have been much better. But nonetheless, it was a well-attended event and a success given the cold weather and the wind that transpired. Since we're on the weather, would like to remind folks that for the next few days, at least from now until possibly Friday, weather reports anticipate us getting an additional 3 inches of rain in the next 3 days or so. That's in addition to what we've already been getting and what we're probably getting outside. So please drive slowly throughout the streets of Montclair, especially around the school sites. Do not just assume that your brakes will hold and you'll stop in a timely fashion, but give yourself some more distance and buffer zone between you and other cars. If you do come across some potholes or see flooding, I think the winds are expected to pick up. If you do see down wires or trees, please call city staff, call City Hall, and they can address it as soon as possible as time allots for them. Also, the city yard, the southern part of the city by Fire Station number 2 on Monte Vista Avenue, just north of Mission, you can get up to 10 sandbags if you are experiencing some flooding at your home. And those are free to Montclair residents, so if you need them, by all means, do not hesitate to go down to the city yard and utilize and get your up to 10 sandbags. Let's see. Monte Vista Water District is sending out a warning and a notice to all residents in the district. Residents, please beware. There are impersonators going door to door, people claiming to be employees of the water district, saying that they need access inside your property to check your water quality or your water pressure, and that they are being sent there from Monte Vista. This is not true. Monte Vista is not conducting door-to-door checks on meters, water quality, water pressure of homes. The water district is strongly encouraging that you do not let the individual or individuals in your home, that you tell them, no thanks, you'll be scheduling an appointment, and for you to immediately call Monte Vista Water District, and if you can, please provide a physical description of the person. A similar event happened like that at our home, involving an imposter claiming to be with Southern California Edison. And I called our contact at SoCal Ed, and they confirmed that they do not send folks going door to door asking to check your meters and having to go into the property and check the meters. If they do that, they will notify you in advance and arrange for a convenient time to do so. They just will not show up unannounced. Again, do not let anyone that claims to be from the Water District or SoCal Ed, for that matter, into the home, and please report it immediately. To the 4 officers that were recognized and welcomed tonight and sworn in today by the chief, welcome to our great department. I'd like to remind the residents that by us implementing this new lateral program where we offer a lateral officer $30,000 as an enticement to come over, we are actually saving a lot more money than that. I believe, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I remember the vote that we took that night, and I had some stats in front of me. From the time if it was a rookie, brand-new officer that had no experience, I believe we invest and spend anywhere from $170,000 to $200,000 per officer from the time they are accepted, go through training and their field training period. So if you look at the 4 officers that we just accepted tonight or acknowledged tonight, times that by the 170 or 200,000, that's quite the savings. Chief, how many laterals have we had now besides the 4? Maybe about 8 to 10? 9? Perfect, perfect. So it's great that we're having 9 new officers at a savings to the residents with experience that they bring to the city from various departments, various agencies. And I've been quite impressed with some of the backgrounds of some of these individuals and the extensive expertise that they have. So I know it'll be a benefit to a whole variety of facets within the department. So welcome to those, and I'm looking forward to many more officers coming. And just before I forget, Mr. City Manager, I still would like that meeting with respect to the housing trust, the 2 departments and whatnot. I haven't had a chance to look at dates, but if you could look at dates on your end, and then we can see what's convenient for us to go over that, that'd be appreciated. I believe that is it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a couple really quick comments. So first of all, I want to thank Economic Development Director Mikey Fuentes for assisting the Chamber of Commerce of getting into its new location. We are, even though it's small, it's like 3 times bigger than where we were, and we are absolutely delighted to be there. And as you all heard, that we had planned an event on February 1st, most of which was going to be outside, but that kind of didn't work. So we were able to fit, the house might be small, but we were able to fit close to 40 people in there. So and everybody was smiling and happy, and nobody looked uncomfortable. So thank you for all who attended. It was a wonderful event, and people are still talking about it the next day. So I'm happy that everybody was there. And then regarding the event orchestrated by the Christian Development Center, I happened to be on the planning team. We worked on that for about 8 months, and it came out better than I thought. We were doing a whole lot of praying. Okay, it's been raining. Please, God, don't let it rain. And it didn't. We had beautiful sunshine. So I really wanted to thank Chief Reed for his team being there. That was a fantastic thing to do for our community, for people to be able to see the officers and have positive interactions with them. Most times when folks interact with the police officer, it's less than pleasant, but that wasn't the case. Last Saturday, it was a great time for people to come, and the kids were all excited about the Bearcat and to be able to go in that. That was really wonderful. Thank you, Chief, for you and your team being there. And then also wanted to thank City Manager Starr, Assistant City Manager Richter, Councilmember Rue, and Councilmember Martinez, all for being there to represent the City of Montclair. We appreciate all of you, and we look forward to next year. And then I have one other thing. I have a question, and probably I should just speak to somebody in code enforcement, but I had some friends over the weekend, a Saturday evening, as a matter of fact, who tricked the train from LA and got off at the Trans Center. And the first thing they told me is, who knew you had so many homeless encampments at the Trans Center? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And I did go there today, and I didn't see any. But I'm just interested if, City Manager Starr, have you heard about encampments near our Trans Center?
Off and on, yes. And we do have personnel up there 7 days a week, and they should be reporting any such encampments in the event that they are occurring. I have heard that on the weekends, it is very likely that some encampments do occur because code enforcement is not working during those particular days. But we do have an individual up there who is doing cleanup of the Trans Center, and I will make certain that any such encampments are being reported to the city.
Excellent. Thank you, City Manager Starr. And the very last comment, I want to commend Gabe Fundario. One of the residents called me, who's the back of her property is in the walkway by, I think, Sunrise Park. And there was a tent back there that was next to her fence with some dogs. And I had a conversation both with Chief Reed and with Mr. Fondario, and they took care of that toot suite, and the resident was very, very happy. They did it like within one day, it was resolved. So kudos to them for that. That concludes my comments.
Okay, Councilmember Martinez.
Okay. To Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, I have seen your face all over social media and events in the last couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that you are being recognized for all of the hard work you put into volunteering for the chamber. I mean, that is a full-time job, and you do a fantastic job, and I know it's not easy. And welcome to our new officers and fire personnel, and congratulations on the promotions. It makes me happy to know that the stress is going to be relieved on some of our officers and fire department employees by having additional staff. And I know there's going to be a training process and all that to go through, but we're almost there. And I don't want to repeat everything everyone else has said, but happy holidays. And I believe that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lopez, you have something?
Yeah, I had a question. Mr. City Manager or staff, I know that it is election year. I noticed in at least 2 areas of the city, large billboard-size political signs have been up. I know last cycle I brought this up to you as well. Personally, I'm fine if they're up, but if are we gonna enforce the restriction, or are we gonna allow them? Because I see them periodically being put up in places they shouldn't, and they're up for a while and they're not taken down.
Well, we have attempted to do that. One billboard was up, a billboard-size sign, as you indicated, was up a few weeks ago regarding an individual running for Congress, and that was reported to the city, so we were going to address that, but the sign was taken down before we did. But if a sign is reported to us, code enforcement is under direction to, provided that it is not in compliance with the size specifications spelled out in the city code, we will have it removed.
And just to comment to those watching that are candidates of any persuasion, please do not display large billboards within the city. I know they're costly to you, but in Montclair, we do not allow them. I know other cities nearby do, but anyhow, thank you.
Yeah, Leonard Paul's when I like it. He'll come back out of his casket, or in this case. Okay, so we're going to adjourn this meeting in memory of building official Michael Dorsey. Thank you.